Who the hell is this?
Who the hell is this?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, doing good. We're just talking to our last guest, One Man's Way, in the comment section, and he was telling me about, I'm trying to get him to go into downtown Baltimore to start filming some of the abandoned areas.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and it's just a phenomenal thing. That's a trend that's happening, and everyone's moving out of state and moving to other cities. It's just phenomenal how intermigration works within a country as big as the United States.
Yeah, no kidding, Mike. Let me call you back from a landline. Getting a lot of interference. Give me 2 seconds. I'll dial you right back.
Okay, hurry up.
2 seconds.
Okay. I like that. Hurry up is my favorite line. I'm just kidding when I say that. Like if my wife says, "Oh, I'm going to the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay, hurry up." I don't mean it. It's just I say hurry up all the time. But someone says Charlie Brown saying, "Steve the Plumber, what's the point of modern Western women?" And then he goes and say, "Besides looks, they offer nothing anymore. Traditionalism has died." I had a conversation with somebody today. Maybe I could have somebody on the show about that. You know, Walking Journey is a really, really, really good guy to have on for that. Yo.
Hey, Mike.
Okay. All right. Break it down. What's going on, buddy, on the East Coast?
With respect to Toronto and the GTA housing market, interesting. A lot is changing real quick, real fast. Treb has now, I guess, put their foot in their mouth and gone ahead and revised their outlook on the housing market. They're still not telling the truth 150%. And those of you who don't know who TREB is, TREB stands for Toronto Real Estate Board, TREB, of course. And, yeah, it's actually quite interesting to see how they're going to weasel their way out of all of this.
Yeah. Okay, so I got TREB here, open. And basically it's, so what's happening? I know they went to court. I know they were pretty much shut down, and then they got to start releasing information. God forbid that the consumer knows what the heck is going on, eh?
Absolutely. But it's interesting. There was an article out, and I don't think the Toronto Real Estate Board realized what they actually confirmed. They single-handedly confirmed that they have no real control over the accuracy of their numbers. In actual fact, their numbers cannot be used nor taken for face value. They cannot be confirmed nor corroborated simply due to the fact that it was reported, and organized real estate will say, "Oh, it's just one time." Well, if it's happened once, it's happened many times before. A realtor posted that the sale price of a home was $1, and it just so happens that that house actually sold for $3 million.
Okay. Yes. So fudging the numbers.
Fudging the numbers, and yeah, they basically solidified that their numbers in terms of their samplings and how they bring their numbers forward cannot be trusted. They are not accurate, and in actual fact, nobody should be taking the Toronto Real Estate Board's numbers, whether it's seasonally adjusted numbers or whatever other bull crap that they want to say. It cannot be trusted one iota.
Mm-hmm. I got a quick question here in the comment section from Charlie Brown. What's your view on living on a bus to save money for a few years?
Living on a bus?
Yeah.
No. When we say bus, do you mean like a private bus?
No, living on a bus as in like a motorhome or a van or something, or...
I think it's great. I mean, if that's what you want to do, and it's a half decent place, and you want to rough it out for a bit, why not? There's nothing wrong with a trailer. People live in trailer parks all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, you know what? There's nothing wrong with the, to rough it out a bit. It sometimes could be adventurous, and it's good that it's a good way to be on the sidelines, because then you could actually really save some real money, because you're not paying electricity, heat, all the crap that comes along with renting or buying, right? So,
Yeah.
So, okay, I got a headline for you, buddy. I need to know what's going on here. Canadian Real Estate Association lowers sales forecast for 2019 again.
And what have we been saying for the longest time, Mike?
Yeah, its affordability is out of reach, and until it gets back into correction mode, and it's 4 or 5 times the annual income of the medium household income, there's no way it's gonna fall. It won't fly. It'll never fly, because once the middle class doesn't buy from each other, it just doesn't work anymore. It just comes to a screeching halt.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think what's important for everybody to understand here is organized real estate will say whatever they can to try to encourage people to buy, similar to what Kevin Thompson does in the comment section. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to point anybody out. He seems like a half decent guy tonight. May have, probably needs to lay off the wheat cookies. But at the same point in time, Toronto Real Estate Board as a whole put out seasonally adjusted numbers and averages, and they make twists and turns for the purposes of massaging the numbers so that their members can go out and instill confidence within, prospective buyers, mm-hmm. As well as sellers in order to make real estate move, mm-hmm.
Of course, and that's the business. That's the business, plain and simple.
Absolutely. They've now had to retract their comments because they know what they had said before is not coming to fruition.
Of course.
And they will continue to retract their comments as things don't come to fruition until people finally realize Trev has no idea what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. They can't be trusted. Mm-hmm. And, quite frankly, we're in for some tough times.
Kevin Thompson in the comments says, "Ouch! Come on, guys, Kevin. You know we love you, buddy. Don't worry. You're a good contributor to the channel, buddy. Don't worry." Okay. Would be really interesting if they got a really good forensic auditor to go into Treb and actually go through everything and actually give us a proper readout on what's happening in Toronto. I think people would be so shocked that maybe it's better that we don't know as of right now until the poop hits the fan a bit more.
Well, it's interesting you say that because there's been talks of that. However, the Toronto Real Estate Board and their lawyers, both in-house and third-party retained counsel, would probably delay that to the point of no return. And then finally, when the poop hits the fan, which is probably happening right now, in fact, it's all signs point that it is. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think a higher up would have to go through it, and they'd have to have just cause in order to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what type of just cause they would need in order to entertain such investigation, mm-hmm. Or audit. Other than the fact that multiple people they would have to have been, shafted out of a deal, or there would have to have been some sort of, mass quantities of impropriety taking place.
Right. Definitely. Let's get to the next article title here. Canadian real estate sales see worst August since 2013. I covered that last week. What do you think of that?
Sorry, Mike, you cut out there. What did you say?
Canadian real estate sales see worst August since 2013.
That's a big number. I think prices are floating around 2015 numbers. Yep. Between 2015 and 2016 numbers. So, it's interesting how, these numbers and this information's coming out and all coming to a head. What do I think about it? I think that it's the accuracy is just going to continue to be right on the money. And you're going to see 2013 become 2012, and then 2011 and 2010, and then we'll float around for the purposes of sales. We'll probably float around anywhere between '08 and '10, not to be construed or confused with pricing.
Right.
I don't see pricing going back to '08 levels. I see pricing going back to 2012, 2013 levels.
So $340,000 for the average median home.
Yeah, I would say let's call it between 340 and 400 grand.
Well, because
depending on where you are.
Well, remember the mortgage calculator we did, and if the average affordability with the person average medium income home income is about $89,000. And remember, the affordability level sits in around 340 to like 450. Remember, like anything outside, anything outside that window, you got to be making 130 large a year.
That's right. Now, if you're talking, if you're making reference to outside of the GTA, absolutely, the GTA probably going to be a little bit higher than that. But yeah, I mean, the average house in the GTA, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, it's upwards of close to $1 million.
Yeah, it's like what, 946?
Yeah, something like that. It did come down, I believe, about 9 or 10%.
Yes, it has.
So yeah, it's down, and I think that number is probably a very generous or conservative number. I think it's a lot more.
Someone saying in the comment section, Mike Martins was pushed out to merit due to the fraud going on in BC. No, there's tons of fraud going on everywhere. It's just I just refused to pay big city prices for it didn't seem worth it for me. It just and hold on, Steve. You said can you drop that announcement to us that you dropped to me the other day about you were talking about maybe relocating? Is that in the pipes right now or no?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm pretty much done and dealt with living in Toronto. Regrettably, my area is changing pretty drastically. And with that said, there was regrettably a armed robbery involving two black males in masks, and they actually held up and they held somebody up at gunpoint in front of a school, approximately maybe 3 yards, 4 yards, maybe about 100 yards, 200 yards away from my house. Had the police at my door, the whole 9 yards, the following morning, asking for my security tapes for the front of my house.
Yeah, it's you know what it is. It's the desperation starts to kick in when there's when your pockets stop lining with money, desperation kicks in, right? And
it's not good. And the police were very honest and said that they don't live around here. They're definitely coming here to the more affluent areas to do the break-ins, to do the robberies. They're getting more aggressive now. For God's sakes, there's a bloody there's been dispensaries in and around my neck of the woods, I get it. It's becoming legal or whatever you want to call it, but you should see some of the model citizens that come in and around those dispensaries. Boy, oh boy.
Oh, can you put a hidden camera there for like a couple of hours and just do a little bit of a compilation video for us?
You know what, Mike? I've heard of these things. They get rated 4, 5, 6 times. They're making so much goddamn money. They just pay the fine and they're business as usual 24 to 48 hours later.
Wow. I had somebody. I got Lord in the comment section. He's from Denver, And I want to get him on my show, too, because I know Denver is having a huge influx of Californians moving into the state of Colorado, and a huge influx. I need to get somebody in from Nevada on the show, because there's a huge influx of Californians. 100,000 a year are going to Nevada from California. And I would like to actually get someone on the ground there that knows what's going on, because that's actually a big effing deal, and that's going to start changing around the housing prices in Nevada, because the benchmark price in Nevada right now is $290, Steve, and they're forecasting for 400 to 460,000 within a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll even bring up the article, so just so people don't know I'm not just like making it up, you know. And it's a big deal because it's gonna affect people in Nevada. I'll bring up the article because it's Nevada. Okay, 100,000 people in Nevada from California, and then they said in the article, where'd it go? Californians fed up with housing costs and taxes are fleeing the state to Nevada. There's a lot of them. Right there. Here we go. 100,000 people. Hold on. Where did that article go? God, I lost the article. Damn, I should have saved it. But no, that's a huge movement, Steve. That's a huge intermigration movement. I know it's about an 8-hour drive, right? But, I mean, that's a huge movement. What do you think is going to happen in Nevada?
Well, I don't think they have the jobs to support such migration, first and foremost, because let's face it, we know what the industry there is basically consists of, three things: gambling, entertainment, live entertainment, and then naturally prostitution. So that said, those three sectors, if you're basically forced to work in one. So I mean, you can place your bet. The latter of the three is the furthest thing from ideal. But if you're in show business, or you want to work at a casino or something along those lines, then hey, by all means.
So here it goes here. Census Bureau data shows California just lost 138,000 people to domestic migration in the 12 months ended in July 2017. And the July 2018, it's actually 393,000.
It's a lot of cake.
That's a lot of people, dude. That's a lot of people. And it's so I see people leaving Toronto to the GTA. But, it made such an impact on the GTA. It was phenomenal. Because prices in Oakville, Brampton, Peterborough, Scarborough went crazy because of people leaving the Toronto core.
Yeah. That's happening right now. People are just giving up and they're leaving. They're giving up and they're leaving. However, the other thing you have to realize is they're either going to commute, or they have to find gainful employment in Kitchener, Waterloo, London, Windsor. And there's not a heck of a lot of jobs in and around that area. Really, there aren't. And house prices, believe it or not, it's same thing, with respect to the 905 area. If it's, under $750,000, things are still selling. If it's under $400,000 or $500,000, things are selling very, very quickly. Simply due to the fact that it's affordable to many, many, many people, and it's extremely affordable for people that are, saying, we're done with Toronto and we're going to go and we're going to live in a townhouse or semi-detached for $300,000 or $400,000.
And that's what's been happening. That's why a lot of the smaller units always do well once the detached market gets out of reach. Because everyone jumps onto the cheaper units. So what we got here in Vancouver is Vancouver mayoral candidates debate housing platforms. The number one thing right now in Vancouver is people running for mayor here in Vancouver. The number one platform they're using is housing. That's the only platform people want to hear about. Nobody cares about healthcare. Nobody cares about schools. They want to know housing. Is that what a lot of people are using in your neck of the woods there, Steve? Because I know elections are right across the board here.
Toronto as a whole has a big affordability problem. However, I don't think the affordability problem can be fixed overnight. You can try to build more affordable housing, so on and so forth, and that's great. Trudeau needs to stop, letting illegal immigrants and refugees in, and start taking care of his own people. But without digressing, yes, it is a big, big problem, and they are, it's on the discussion table, if you will. But we have bigger issues in Toronto. Our gun violence and murder rate is actually higher than Toronto. Higher than New York.
Than New York, yeah. That's what Faith Goldie was saying the other day when she was on the Alex Jones show there. She was talking about how the gun crime, violent crimes, people coming in and taking advantage of the system and manipulating the taxpayers.
Yeah, absolutely. John Tory created this problem. He took away the carding, and quite a few tools that the Toronto Police Service had at their disposal.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with the plainclothes detective that knocked on my door after that armed robbery had taken place. And I looked at him and I said, you have no power. They've taken away all your tools and all the tricks of the trade. And he says, do you care to elaborate? I said, yeah. I said, you can't card anymore? And he says, yeah. And he says, if I think you have a gun, I can't pat you down. And I said, well, at the end of the day, I said, I guess, all we can do is keep that in, the front of our minds when we go to the polls. And he says, you're absolutely right. And he says, well, what's your position on carding? I said, no problem. You want my ID? You think I'm up to no good? Here's my ID. And you know what? When your shift's done, come over for a glass of wine. And he laughed and he says, yeah. He says, very few and far between would actually go ahead and even make that statement.
Yeah, good old G.
In other words, I have nothing to hide, Mike.
Yeah, of course, neither do I. I mean, nobody. A lot of people out there, you'd be actually very surprised of how many people out there really don't have anything to hide at all. It's actually quite a big percentage of people, It's that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that really tiny, marginal, small percentage of people. You know what I'm saying? JT. I think JT is going to lose this election. I think he's not going to win. I think JT's been promising things, and he has. What did he do the last 4 years? Absolutely nothing in Toronto.
Oh, Mr. Tory there is got more problems than he knows what to deal with, and I really hope that he loses, and he loses miserably, because he loves to satisfy too many of the bleeding hearts, and the whole carding thing.
That's what the mayor of Victoria did, and then she took down that John A. MacDonald statue, and now boom, she's finished.
Yeah, well, the fact that they let that transpire is absolutely ridiculous. That's a part of history.
I know. And no one looks through anything through a historical lens anymore. It's the saddest thing ever. It's sad.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. It's sad. Sad.
So, Mike, I have a question for you.
Shoot away.
Do you think NAFTA is actually going to happen? Because after the last 24 to 48 hours, I'm pretty much convinced it's not going to happen.
I'm banking. You know what? I was reading the PDF of the new NAFTA proposal, and I was skimming through it. It's like 1,400 pages, and Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the Canadian Parliament has read that whole NAFTA, the new revised NAFTA agreement, because it's just phenomenal. You need a whole secretary, like a whole team to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
anyways, from what I'm seeing, I just don't think we have it to close the deal. I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think we are going to sacrifice anywhere from 200 to 200,000 to 1 million jobs.
Yeah, and I think our 2% of our GDP will evaporate. I can tell you, if you went on BNN right now, BNN Bloomberg, this morning, actually, it was at the plowing match. W. Ford said, "No way, no how. Our farmers and our dairy is not going to be a negotiating chip." And he went to Washington today. He was in Washington this morning. That just basically solidifies that NAFTA is not going to happen, in my opinion, simply due to the fact that Mr. Trump there wants everything, including the kitchen sink and the whole dairy situation. And you know what? I just don't see it happening. So I see an immediate recession, and I also see auto tariffs within the next, I would say, 60 days.
Yeah, auto tariffs are going to be a disaster. That's, I mean, it's kind of our fault for not introducing electric cars earlier and producing and manufacturing stuff in our own country. It's kind of our fault too. You know that, right?
Oh, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. But at the same point in time, make no mistake, Justin Trudeau only has to bite this bullet for, what, less than a year? And then he's out of office. And then we obviously have to put up with Trump for at least one more year and a bit, possibly more, if in fact he goes ahead and goes, two full terms.
I think he's going to go for a second term, and you know what? The silent majority always wins.
I'm inclined to agree, Mike.
Silent majority.
Yeah, I mean, Moby in the comment section said NAFTA will be the big trigger.
It is.
And he's absolutely right.
Yes, it is. It's going to be the domino that's either going to make or break us in the next, week? In the next couple of days?
Yeah, and I laugh at people, especially organized real estate. They go ahead, and this is the new thing, Mike. Well, if NAFTA doesn't get done, there's one positive, that interest rate, there won't be any more interest rate hikes. And I look at them, and I'm like, oh, my God, you are so stupid.
Yeah, interest rates are going to go up to 8%, 12%, 8%, 10%.
And you know what? My argument is, even if the BOC doesn't raise interest rates, organized real estate is going to wish and really have have dreams that NAFTA came through and our overnight interest rate doubled. Okay, because I would rather take the overnight interest rate doubling immediately and get a NAFTA deal versus the reverse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In terms of what the economic effect and capacity will have.
Of course. Yeah. People, this tsunami that's going to hit us in the next couple of days. A lot of people are so oblivious to what's happening. They just don't know. They're on their phones. They're on their social media. They're doing their things, and they just don't know what's happening outside the box. And it's really, really, really scary. You know what I'm saying? And what I like about my channel, and specifically about my channel, is I was on another YouTube channel the other day, and I was watching a guy do a live stream. And his comments were just people swearing at each other, nobody giving any constructive criticism, nobody giving any positive outlooks on anything. If I was live streaming and my audience was like that, I wouldn't even live stream. You know what I'm saying? So here, you go to our comment section, you got a really cool, like-minded people that are pretty much in the same boat, same page, kind of understanding what's going on, kind of like, we have a lot of people that invest in our page, that watch us, a lot of real estate investors, a lot of people that sell real estate, a lot of people that work in the banking system, a lot of people that just, that are teachers, right? Teachers watch us, So, like my friend from Hong Kong there that I spoke to, he's an English teacher, you know what I'm saying? So we reach a good audience, and the people on this page know that NAFTA, even people in Japan are watching this NAFTA deal because they think it's going to be the nail in Canada's coffin.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's funny, Moby actually just put something out in the comments section about the poop show with respect to the Saudi withdrawal. Mm-hmm. And we are starting to feel that as well.
Yeah.
But once again, that is Justin Trudeau making, all the wrong comments, and subsequently we're now feeling the brunt of it. But with respect to NAFTA, the Saudi withdrawal is going to be, a little dot on the map. People do not have no realization or inclination of how bad, a NAFTA deal not happening is going to be. It's basically everything is going to stop. When I say everything, I mean everything is going to stop. Nobody is going to spend any money. We won't have any money to spend. Everybody's going to bunker down. The housing market will completely implode on itself.
Yep. And who's going to bail it out? The people that didn't buy is basically the people's pensions, teachers' pensions, automotive pensions, and a lot of pensioners that are going to be bailing this out. And that's going to be also the people that didn't drink the Kool-Aid are going to be paying for this problem.
Absolutely. Bankruptcies right now, before it was consumer proposals were on the rise.
That's right.
That's now it's not getting any worse. Because people are now saying, screw it, I'm going tits up, I'm going bankrupt.
Yeah, that's what's happening. People want to take those chains off, and they've started to realize where they're at, and they're starting to see that there's no way outside of that. They'll just keep digging in that tunnel. It's a never-ending treadmill, is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. There will be write-downs and write-offs. An escalation in foreclosures and bankruptcies. Actually, Crypto Markets put out a great video the other day. I love to plug him on your channel because that guy is just a wealth of information.
Yeah, I watch his channel too. He's good.
I'm pretty sure he's a day trader, is he not?
I know he works for some sort of financial institution somewhere somehow, but yeah, from what I see. He usually does a lot of videos when he's walking or in his car, so you don't see where he never does videos. I don't think he does them at work, like at his desk. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's either in his house or it's in his car or whatever it may be. But he had a great video out on what Q4 has to bring, and boy, oh boy, was he right on the money. Yeah. Everything he said not only makes sense, but at the same point in time will come to fruition.
Oh, for sure. Did you see I saw you comment on my Australia video? Did you see all going back for 4 years, all the articles, all the different articles I read about Australia?
Yes.
And you see how much of that actually came to light?
Yeah, it's amazing. You basically knocked that one out of the park. I couldn't believe how accurate you were.
And especially 4 years ago saying people from Sydney are going to be leaving because they can't afford to live there. And people in the comments on that video were trashing me saying, oh, you're an idiot. People could always afford to live in their major cities. And before that happens, we'll go to war and stuff. And then look what happened. The huge mass exodus of these big cities. And look what's happening now. I'm going to do a compilation for Toronto and I'm going to do one for Vancouver.
I think you should.
Yeah, I'm going to do a compilation video for Toronto and Vancouver, and from when I started like 5 years ago, or sorry, no, Toronto I started about 3.5 years ago, but it got really intense when the Vancouver put on the foreign buyers tax, and everyone ran over to Toronto. So that's going to be a really good one to start off with.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's going to be great. There's going to be some very interesting developments with NAFTA and the real estate market within the next 7 to 10 business days, Mike.
Yeah.
I know that firsthand because I was speaking to a few people that are within, the financial aspect of things, and some political boys and whatnot, lawyers, accountants, and they pretty much have the inside scoop of what's gone on. Even if it's at a glance or 20,000 feet, they understand it way better than you and I.
Right.
And what they actually have said is quite scary. And I don't want to say anything any more than I already have. Mm-hmm. But in about a week's time, on next week's show, there will be some crazy things coming out.
Yeah, we'll make sure we'll have you on the show next week, next Wednesday, if you want to be on the show. I think we should do an after show for Mike in the Night this Saturday. If you're not busy, we'll open a few articles and go over some of the needs and wants in that deal.
I agree.
Yeah, we should go over.
I agree.
We should go over needs and wants and any declarations that are in there, and how much it's going to entrench the Canadian public, or how much it's going to benefit. But we got to see both sides. Like I said, that deal is like thousands of pages long, so I don't know. Like, we have to, because there's a lot of hidden fine print in there, and I don't know, to be really frank with you, I don't think anybody even reads that, to be honest, because it's just too much.
I agree. It's information overload, Mike.
Yeah. It just basically tell us what you want, and then we'll tell you what we could give you, and that's it. Instead of doing that, they're, just a basic 3-page business proposal: what you need, what you want, how it would benefit you and us, and how this deal will benefit both parties, and how this would continue to living in peace and harmony. But no, it's 3,000, 2,000, 1,600 pages or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's insane, Mike. It's above my pay grade, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. For all our pay grades, man. I don't think anyone in government makes enough to read that fine print. It's phenomenal. But anyway, Steve, let's have you on the show hopefully this Saturday. We'll go over NAFTA talks, and we'll open a pile of articles, because this is really gonna affect every single Canadian or every single person living in Canada, whether they're Canadian or not. It's gonna affect everybody within our borders.
I agree. It's gonna be one wild ride, and I think the writing's on the wall. I just don't see it happening. But then again, what do I know?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, we could do our best to tackle it and see what measures are in place and what we're better off doing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Steve, I'm gonna let you go. Go get some sleep, buddy.
Yeah, you too, Mike. You take care. Thanks for having me on the show.
Good night, brother. Good night. Bye.